would add the winner in the 91st. So win for Battery on the road. A win at home, as you mentioned. Dodson wins ahead, and Marcanic has a shot there, gets saved. Pounces on the loose ball, 1-0, Battery win.
When Ben Pierman and Lee Cohen took the reins of the Charleston Battery last offseason, the objective was to restore the relevance. They won the title back in 2012. They made it right back to the semifinal in 2013, but they've not been beyond the quarterfinal ever since then. And that's, of course, after last year missing the playoff for the second time in a row after a very long streak of making the postseason. Gary, the turnaround has been kickstarted by the goal scoring throughout the roster. Nick Marcanic, chief among them.
He's one of them, along with Augie Williams. Here he wins the ball, supplies Augie Williams, who has the shot from the edge of the box. And yeah, Tim Trilk helps a little bit by letting that one in. And then they reverse the procedure. It's Augie Williams who supplies Nick Marcanic, who makes a great late run into the box to get the 5th against Indy.
Now, Birmingham Legion have been a model of consistency since they joined the league under the guidance of Tom Sohn. They are looking for their own first trip to a semifinal.
Yeah, it has been very consistent, but they want to go further. They want to go all the way to the finals, and they have a stacked squad. And Tom Sohn says the squad is all coming together now, so maybe it's Birmingham Legion's year.
And if they are to make that first conference final, you imagine Enzo Martinez would have something to do with it.
Yeah, he's been so crucial, plays in that defensive midfield role, but does get forward to score goals. He has a whole bunch of them to his name, 10 and 7 assists, but he also builds from midfield as well. So besides being up there scoring, he's a creator from a very deep position.
He is the only member of the 60-goal, 40-assist club in USL Championship history. Well, these two teams all season long had the fireworks offensively. They certainly had it last week. 5-0 win for Charleston, a 3-0 win for Birmingham. Will we see those fireworks here tonight? It's the Battery and the Legion in the conference semifinal next on ESPN+.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat, because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
This crowd is ready to welcome in yet another home playoff game for the Charleston Battery, and maybe not one they expected to have. On paper, they should have been traveling to Tampa Bay this week, but the Birmingham Legion had other plans. Time to meet the starting 11 for both sides, brought to you by Bud Light. And we begin with Ben Pierman's Battery.
No changes, and why would you? You beat Indy 5-0, keep the same players on if they're fit. That's exactly what he's done, that 4-2-3-1 sort of shape. Augie Williams up front, and then behind him, a really creative bunch of Barajas, Rodriguez, and Marcanic, who can create goals and score them.
And to your point of why change it if it worked out last week, it's the same 11 on the other side for Birmingham. There was a question mark coming in. Matt Van Oekel had an injury, left last week's game. He was 50-50, but he's fit, and the rest of the 11 the same as well.
Yeah, it was a really bad gash on his leg, but he's tough and he's decided he can bounce back and be ready for this match. As mentioned, it's Preston's pace up front, and then Agudelo and Pasha Martinez creating from midfield.
Take a look at the keys to the game as well, brought to you by Gildan, a leader in high-quality, comfortable apparel basics, located right here in the Low Country.
Yeah, Ben Pearman saying it's all about putting the team first. Every player knows that they play for the team, then the goals will come. And for Birmingham Legion, as mentioned, Enzo Martinez is playing as that deep midfielder. If he gets the ball to the likes of Tyler Pasha and Juan Agudelo, then Charleston Battery could be in trouble.
Alton Garcia in charge of this one. Whistle in mouth, ready to send us on our way here in the Eastern Conference semifinal for Patriots Point, and away we go. A kickoff so nice we get to do it twice. A false start from both sides. So they'll play the ball back to the middle and do it again. Take two. Birmingham in the red from right to left. Charleston in their trademark black and yellow from left to right. And this one will stick. We're underway here in the Low Country. Enzo Martinez really won it, wearing that captain's armband for Birmingham. He is the key to everything for this Legion side. Augie Williams, the key to everything perhaps for Charleston. Springs it wide. Barajas, the bright young talent, centers it. Early opportunity was there for Williams, and nobody got a touch on it after all of that.
Wow, Augie Williams, if you'd have just assumed, you can see him there talking to himself and annoyed. If he just assumes the goalkeeper misses it, which was a striker, you sort of have to do. You're there in case of an error. Barajas, so clever, such a good ball in as well. Van Oekel comes, confusion. Augie Williams just doesn't take advantage of it.
We'll take a look at the injury report brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Only one on the side of Charleston. None reported, thankfully, for Birmingham, which this late in the season, Gary, is not something you see very often. So many times it's a war of attrition. So to be in a position for a clean bill of health, maybe a reason why Birmingham sits in this position, and Tom Sohn would agree with that. All year long as they tried to find their way, injuries did not quite allow that to happen. They're fully healthy now. And here they are in a conference semifinal, but here they are defending an indirect free kick.
And that's why so many people think Birmingham Legion can go all the way, because that victory at Tampa Bay Rowdies 3-0 last week was absolutely amazing against a wonderful Tampa Bay side. And if they can do that to Tampa Bay away from home, they can do it to any team. So is it going to be the same Birmingham Legion here today that Tom Sohn was so happy with? Will it be Ben Pearman rather with Charleston Battery, just in their ability to close teams down and allow so few chances as they did to Indy? I think Indy's XG was something like 0.14 for the entire match. And they're a very good defensive outfit, are the Battery.
Remember, this is indirect. Not that you'd probably shoot from here anyway, but indirect free kick. Sent in toward the back post, and it's just over the head of Leland Archer. It'll be out for a corner.
It's coming a long way. Just don't know if that was an opportunity for Matt Van Oekel to come and get that. I'm watching the keeper, because when you have a bad injury, you just wonder whether he's worried about his leg, whether he comes out as much as he should.
Tom Sohn did say it was just a pain tolerance thing, and how Van Oekel was feeling. How could they wrap the gash and repair it ahead of this match? So good to go, but the question is, how fit is he? Barajas, the in-swinger. Backside of the 6, it falls again. And a foul's called against Charleston. But Gary, that's 3 crosses from out wide that have touched the ground already against Birmingham.
Yeah, and the best one was the Augie Williams one just a moment or two ago when Matt Van Oekel came and didn't get the ball. If he was on his toes, you'd just chest that down and he's got an empty net. But you're right, 2 other crosses in. And they will ask questions of Matt Van Oekel and his defenders. I think the first goal against Indy was from a corner. So they are, in fact, I think they're the second highest number of goals from corners in the entire USL, Charleston Battery.
Headed through for Williams. Flag stays down. Augie Williams! It's saved by Van Oekel and out for a corner.
That's a good save from the goalkeeper. Vital save. I don't know if the flag's come up or not. Looks like it has, so it wouldn't have counted, but Matt Van Oekel's not to know that. He gets through Augie Williams, lovely little ball in. He just hits it nice and early, and the keeper just gets enough to keep that away from going in the goal.
Now the other way quickly. Hits it on Trey Muse. The flag did come up late. That last chance would not have counted. The way these teams match up stylistically with the scores they posted last week, I think you and I were expecting some end-to-end action, some goals perhaps, and that doesn't mean it's always going to play out that way, but if the first 5 minutes are any indication, buckle up.
Well, between them, they scored 8 goals and conceded none. So is it the defenses that are going to be on top, or is it the strikers?
Rare giveaway from Enzo Martinez, but ends up finding Prosper Kasim nonetheless, and a foul goes against the Battery. Key is really that midfield for Birmingham. Enzo Martinez dropping off in that more defensive role. A lot of responsibilities on his plate. How can Juan Agudelo and Tyler Pasher orchestrate things in the dual operating 10s? When those two are on, the team is very dangerous. When they're off, the team suffers for it.
Ben Pearman picking out Enzo Martinez and saying, firstly, he was Ben's choice as MVP for the year. So he's just an absolutely fantastic player. And secondly, because he's deep, he feels that the key to success, or one of the other keys to success, is stopping Enzo Martinez playing. So expect to see a yellow and black shirt closing him down every time he gets on the ball.
Tandem of Agudelo and Pasher, they were on last week. The team's 3-0 win, but when these teams met just 2 weeks ago to end the regular season, Ben Pearman candidly said it was an off night for both of them. You don't expect them to have nights like that often, and they have to be ready for the best of Agudelo and Pasher tonight with more on the line. Here is Agudelo right now. Kasim to his right, Pasher out in front. Agudelo keeps it. Now Kasim. Kasim through for Agudelo, tried to work end line and called for the foul. Jersey tug on Juan Palma.
Well, to your point about Agudelo and Pasha, if you can't get up for a semi-final, then what are you going to get up for? I understand during the season, you know, this was a big concern for Ben Pearman. He feels they will be up and ready for tonight's game. Whereas during the season, one of the reasons why they didn't finish in the top 4 and get a home game was A, injuries, and B, just, yeah, there's a lot of talented players who maybe feel they're good enough to make the playoffs no matter what, and now is the time to turn it on. And if they do, wow, are we in for a match tonight?
Set long for Derek Dodson. Too long.
Looking at some of the other stats here, but Charleston have scored 10 goals inside the opening 15 minutes. It's the second most in the league. I guess from a Birmingham point of view, and something Tom Sohn would have said is, guys, keep it tight first 15 minutes. We know they're good. Let's stop them from scoring, and if we can get past the first 15 minutes away from home, quieten the crowd, then we can start to try and take control of the match. So again, the first 15 minutes of Birmingham, absolutely vital.
See that wrap under the sock on the left leg of Van Oekel. Top Zone did say the picture of that gash is floating around social media somewhere. I was not brave enough to go look it up. I took his word for it that it was nasty.
He came off at half-time. Trevor Spangenberg came in the second half. I thought he might start Spangenberg because simply you want someone to be fit and up for it, but clearly Matt Van Oekel believes he's 100%. And he's not one to miss a match if he can help it, semi-final especially.
Slip through for Martinez. He goes down. So Martinez now for this Birmingham Legion outfit 2 years in a row. Just a star for the club. He's been a star in this league for a long time. 3-time first team all-league, probably on his way to it again this year. Ben Pearman again noted he voted Enzo Martinez first team all-league here again in 2023. Only member of the league's 60-goal, 40-assist club. assuming he continues and is healthy next year, he'll punch into the 70-50 club and up his own record. He's only 5 assists shy of 50. That should be no trouble for him next season, the way he's been playing. Segbers. And Okel has it marked.
Well, you would think it's a tough ask for Birmingham Legion to come to Patriots Point, especially bearing in mind that the Battery have won 5 of their last 6 at home and only conceded 3 goals in those 6 matches. They're a formidable force here, but I would have said the same about Tampa Bay Rowdies, and they went there and won 3-0.
Agudelo off for Kasim, blocked. Shot for handball, and it's been granted. Free kick in a really dangerous spot now for the Legion.
Palmer's pointing to his back and his shoulder, and everyone's debating it, and Alton Garcia is saying, all right, get back. Decision's been made.
They're drawing a map on the left shoulder blade there. We'll see if they're right. They're not. That was right around the elbow. It looked like from that first angle. Yeah, see like the outstretched elbow.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a tough one. The bottom line is, once a referee's given the decision, it's not going to change his mind. There's no VAR or anybody to go and chat to, so I guess he's just slowing the game down, making sure Birmingham Legion can't take a quick free kick, giving your goalkeeper time to set everything up.
Seems like Tyler Pasher's left foot won that argument over Enzo Martinez and Prosper Kasim. Four goals in the regular season for Pasher. This is terrific territory for someone with a left foot like his. Trey Muse has his wall ready. Tyler Pasher tried to go underneath the wall. Ricochets through, briefly there. Agudelo is called for the foul.
I didn't see a foul there, to be honest. I can understand Agudelo just going to ground and looking quizzically at the referee, who's getting an earful from all the players around, especially the Charleston Battery players.
Thompson has been in charge of this team since its inception. Helped guide it on a deep run into US Open Cup this year as well, where they took down Charlotte on MLS, ran into Inter Miami before Messi arrived. Actually, it was the day that Messi was announced to become an Inter Miami. So there was a lot of buzz around the club and the game, and Birmingham came close. They lost 1-0. Probably hard done by the referee on the day. Anybody remembers that game? Sorry, Birmingham fans, to open up a wound if you're listening, but that was one where they were in it and possibly could have advanced. They've been good this year in knockout football, whether it was Open Cup or so far in these playoffs.
You're right, this is knockout football right now, and you're quite correct. They're a very good team because, again, I think Agudelo, Pasha, they come to life in these sort of matches where there's a commitment. I'm not saying they're not committed in other matches, but sometimes players like to raise their game, and they've got to have a good reason to do it.
Dodson looks back post. The open header is put wide. Fell perfectly on that left side for Markanek. Had his head in hands afterwards. Another golden opportunity for Charleston gone by the wayside.
He's got to hit target from that. He knows it more than anybody else. He's grabbed his head straight away and gone, what was I doing? He's trying to flick it in the corner, and I often think when it comes in that direction, head it back towards the goalkeeper's right-hand side. Sorry, left-hand side as we are, right-hand side as we're looking, but to Matt Van Okel's left hand. Head it back, because then you're more sure of making good contact. That's another fantastic ball into the danger area from the Battery.
Allen lets it fly. Look out in the supporters group. Charleston is forcing the issue early on. In the high press, forced a couple turnovers, created some chances.
It's a decent strike, but it's clearly over, and Matt Van Okel just waves at it. Again, we talked about the first 15 minutes, Birmingham Legion getting through it because Battery are so good in front of goals early on in the game. Well, they're getting close to that 15 minutes, and then you might see them start to take more of a grip on the game.
Son felt it would be up to his side's ability to counter and make the most of those transitional moments here in this one tonight. Knowing that Charleston likes to build through the lines just like this. At times, susceptible to the turnover, susceptible to be caught out in transition. Haven't seen a moment like that, though, in favor of Birmingham. Maybe here. It's won by Martinez. Nwegbo. Ivo Nwegbo finds Juan Agudelo. Smith. Kasim. Trying to get it right back through for Smith. Pinballs around before Ikaza gets rid of it. Brought up an interesting point before, Gary, about this Birmingham side, the Pastures of the world, the Agudelos of the world, guys who have been in MLS and seen that next level, maybe getting up for this game versus some regular season games. Kasim has it here, looks goalward. And Tom Stone will be the first to point that out, actually. He said this team, to be quite fair, has underachieved this year. He'll be the first to admit that. Now, part of that has been injuries that have impacted different times of the year. Part of it is just getting up for every game. But he's found the right mixture late in the year. He said they had some meetings behind the scenes where they pushed the right buttons of the players. The response was very favorable. And now it's a team that is fully bought in, fully committed, and ready to make this run, relying on their talent, their experience, and now their drive, as you mentioned, with the lights turn brighter. And Archer continues to carry. On the left finds Segbers. Rolled ahead now for Markanek, and they'll have a corner.
Keeping that pressure on the battery, because to your point, Tom Stone saying, if we can pressure them and get turnover ball, then we can catch them in transition. That's their game plan, as you suggested. Problem is, you've got to be in the other half to do that. And right now, Charleston Battery is digging them in here, getting crosses into the box, asking questions of defender and goalkeeper. It's pressure that often, not always, but often results in a goal.
Arturo Rodriguez will deliver. Swinger near post, a glancing header off target by Palma. And they will say it took a deflection. So now we'll come across and have yet another corner. The third of the match already, pardon me, fourth for Charleston.
That was a good corner again. It's into a danger area. Birmingham defending well, but if they just let one moment slip here, one player get away from the marker, they could pay the price. It's good early pressure from the home side.
Barajas with Rodriguez. Fidel Barajas had 9 assists in the regular season. A good delivery again, and the header's in! Charleston strikes first! Emilio Ikaza does it. The Battery, yet again, scoring early at home in the postseason.
He did it last week against Indy 11. He got a goal from a corner, the opening goal. He's done it again. Emilio Ikaza from the Barajas ball, whipped in. He gets up, he's unmarked, and it just said the one mistake, one player you let go. And he let him go there. I think Jake Roof is the defender who was meant to be marking him, and he tries to deal with it too late. But by then, Ikaza's got his position. He's got his header in place. Nothing that Matt Van Oekel can do. And the early pressure, we said first 15 minutes, they've done it again, Charleston Battery. The pressure has paid off.
A Battery goal with the sparkling finish, brought to you by Diamonds Direct. 2 weeks in a row, Ikaza early on a set piece.
That's just poor defending. At the end of the day, whether it's Jake Roof, whoever's meant to be marking Emilio Ikaza, you cannot let players free in the box. And that's what they've been waiting for, Battery, putting good balls in, asking questions, waiting for an error. And then they got it.
Flag stays down for now. And it never came up in the end. This is out for a corner. Everybody on Charleston looked right to the assistant referee, waiting for the flag to pop. Instead, it points to the corner.
Fans are all pumped up now. They got the excitement going, but you're right. I thought it looked like it could have been offside. Certainly the defender stopped. This is a good opportunity for Birmingham to get back on level terms.
Corner for a goal at one end. Pasher serves it, Kasim flicks it, still loose in the middle, and nearly the response for the Legion. Out for a goal kick.
So close there, Agudelo with an effort. Got enough power behind it, didn't get direction. That's what Birmingham Legion want. Get the ball in the danger area from Tyler Pasher. Just falls here for Agudelo. Doesn't get a deflection, so he just hit it off target, which is a pity because he's got a volley 14 yards out without too much pressure. He should at least be hitting target, a player of Agudelo's quality.
Officially in the 18th minute for Ikaza, so he was a little late in delivering. He was in the 12th minute last week. 6 minutes later.
Bad show, Charleston, bad show.
And that one was also from the opposite corner. Arturo Rodriguez, an in-swinger with the right foot. This one, Fidel Barajas, an in-swinger with the left foot.
It's not the biggest either, Emilio Ikaza. That's what's amazing here. Again, credit to Ben Pierman. It's not just the big centre-backs you're looking at, or Augie Williams. He's got every player in that box trying to lose their marker, trying to get in the end of the cross.
Goal scoring all year long has been so spread out from this Charleston side, and Pierman drove that point home. We had a chance to chat with him ahead of this game. The mantra of the team is simply, if you do your job, somebody will be there to finish it. They don't care who scores the goals. Augie Williams had the most of them with 14, and then Markanek with 9 in the regular season. But if you do your job, they trust that somebody will be there to finish. And this time, it was Ikaza.
Oh, they had 5 different goal scorers against Indy, to your point. They can all pop up, they can all score from different positions, and if you want a moment of creative genius, they've got Barajas, just age 17. He is a stunning, he scored some unbelievable goals this season, and he's got great talent. Mexico U17 international, and every once in a while he pops up with an absolute golazo.
Also had 9 assists in the regular season. Already with 1 tonight, yet another corner now for the Battery. And Birmingham learned their lesson from the last one. Barajas, another good service, nearly the same spot that Ikaza rose to head the last one home. And now Rodriguez will venture to the far side for this corner.
You mentioned another good cross, and I think you're 100% spot on. With corners and balls whipped in, there's probably 7 or 8 crosses. Everyone has been in the danger area. Everyone has asked a question of defender or goalkeeper. Augie Williams could have scored in the first couple of minutes when Matt Van Oekel missed that one cross. The quality of the balls in is absolutely superb.
Rodriguez's turn. 6th corner of the night. Rodriguez, finally, somebody in a red jersey getting to it first. Sent back in from Segbers, over everybody. Out for a goal kick. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas. To catch the match, visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Could still have one more of those this year. If they win tonight, of course, highest remaining seed in the East. So if they win, they will host regardless of who gets through. Question then becomes, should they make it to a final? Depending on how things shake out in the West, could they be hosting a final at Patriots Point? So is it 1 more, maybe 2 more home games for the Battery in 2023?
It seems less likely if they get through and win the East that they'll be at home, given that I think 2 of the remaining 3 teams in the West all have a higher position. But you never know.
Gotta be rooting for Phoenix if they want to host that final.
You know, 1-0 down. You're a quarter of the way into the match. Don't think Birmingham will be overly worried. They were 1-0 down away at Memphis to Rodrigo da Costa penalty in the first half. They came back to win that 2-1. I know they have the quality to score goals, but they can't afford to do, of course, is now go and concede a second. And that'll be exactly what the Battery will be trying to do.
Dodson. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest products, offers, and more. Select, the player's choice.
One thing that caused problems for Tampa Bay Rowdies last week was the pace up front of Preston to Boyd Tucker. He's very, very quick, and they were getting beautiful balls played into him, mostly from Enzo Martinez. They haven't been able to get him into the game at all yet, and that's going to be a concern for Tom Sohn. Spending all their time, or most of their time, defending Birmingham Legion. When you've got the likes of Prosper Kasim on one wing and Deba and Wegbo on the other, and Preston up front, you want to try and get some ball to them whenever you can, obviously.
Williams. Give it away. Gaza won it. Allen steps through. Allen goes for a goal. Second time he's tried from distance. This one on target at least. But no trouble for Van Oekel.
Yeah, target, yes. Power, no. It was more of a back pass. But at least he's trying. And again, he's more of a defensive midfielder, and he's getting forward and at least having a dip on goal. Something that, again, they're on the front foot battery. They're asking questions. Something Birmingham Legion haven't quite been able to do as yet, but they've got plenty of time to get into this game.
As you look through the ranks, this Battery team is one of the younger sides in terms of the starting 11 and the players they mainly rely on, especially compared to a Birmingham side. More age, more experience. So you wondered how the pressure would affect this team. Now, as the highest remaining seed, we asked Ben Pierman if it's something they thought about. Look out here, Allen nearly gives it away, now does. One back, Kasim back for an Wegbo. Segbers, in the nick of time, picks it off.
Oh, there was a moment there when it's come to Wegbo. I'm thinking it's either a shot or he's going to play one of his teammates through. It never quite happened for Birmingham. That's much better.
Kasim. Wegbo. Agadello had it lined up. Shot for handball, waved off. Rodriguez helps get it clear. So he asked Ben Pierman about some of that added pressure, and he was candid. He said there is a little bit more. It's certainly different being at home against Birmingham than if you would have been on the road against the Tampa Bay side that was expected to maybe go on and win it all. But they've embraced it, and they're showing well right now in this role.
And when we spoke to him before the match against Indy, had a chat with him, and we said, what does it take for you to win the USL Championship? He said, well, firstly, we have to beat Indy. He said, secondly, we need a whole bunch of results to go away. Once they beat Indy, I'm looking at the results coming through. Tampa Bay out, Pittsburgh out, and I'm thinking, well, Ben Pierman, you asked for it, and bit by bit, you're getting it. And as you said, if they win here, they will be at home to either Lou City or Detroit. If they win that, then they're one match away from being champions. So it really is opening up. The possibilities are opening up, but there's still a huge job here to do tonight.
That match between Louisville City and Detroit City kicks off in, I believe, 3 minutes officially. So we'll keep you updated on the happenings there once that one begins. Last week was some nice validation for Ben Pierman and this Charleston side as well. Said it was a 3-year project for him and Lee Cohen when they took over. And the objective in year one was just to restore relevancy. Then you go on beyond that, start talking about deep runs into the postseason and championships. This year, just restore relevancy, be in the playoff race, maybe sneak in. That was the goal. Get back to what Battery football is about. After a decades-long streak of making the postseason, then 2 years in a row missing out, they wanted to get back to that at least. Check mark. Beyond that, made a little bit of a run and played an MLS team in Open Cup. Ended up as the 3 seed. Now they're hosting another playoff game. They could host a conference final. It's a little bit ahead of schedule, but very proud. Last week he was to see that victory. Can't imagine how he'd feel if they go on and hold on to this one tonight.
Yeah, and to add to that, they've turned the discussion around from last season, which was a horror season. They had the biggest change from one season to the next in USL history. They had a record number of wins, 17 in the regular season. So it's not that they've just improved. They've improved in leaps and bounds and can keep on going. That's the amazing thing. But yeah, yes, Pittsburgh finish top in the East, but it's also what you do in knockout football, and Charleston Battery are showing that they can compete in the league and they can compete in the playoffs.
And he stops short of using the phrase playing with house money because he doesn't want it to seem like they're content with losing. Hey, we had a good season, better than we hoped. Now it's okay if we lose. No, the goal changed. Once they realized how good they could be and what the ceiling might be, the goal changed into being a team that can go on that deep run. So in one aspect, yes, they're happy to be here. Yes, they're happy with what this year has brought already, but they want more and they're still hungry for more.
Absolutely, and it's opening up. It should be an away match at Tampa Bay. It's not. Should be a final match against Pittsburgh if they got through. It's not, so those are all out of the picture. Not that anybody else is going to be easy. It's just that those two away, Tampa Bay Rowdies and Pittsburgh Riverhounds, given the way they've played this season, that's a big, big hurdle to overcome. A little bit easier when you're playing at home.
Ikaza, the goal scorer, back in the 18th minute. Second week in a row, he opened the scoring in the first 20 minutes, both off corners. Barajas. And this will be a free kick in a good spot for Charleston. Arturo Rodriguez taken down just outside the 18. Still Moses Mensah pleading his case, but the call has already been levied.
There's definitely contact with the legs, so free kick given. Once again, big discussions with the referee and everybody milling around, but obviously again to stop the quick free kick. It's another dangerous position. No doubt it'll be another ball whipped in to the box, asking questions of the defenders. And
do you favor the left foot of Barajas here or the right foot of Rodriguez?
I would always go left foot Barajas because you can bend it into that far post, and if everyone misses it, it becomes a shot on target. So as a keeper, I would much rather Rodriguez takes it and bends it away from me. Barajas hits it, I've got to worry about both cross and potential shot.
Can Barajas try and surprise Van Oekel here at his near post on a shot anyway, with that left foot he possesses. Barajas whips it in, Van Oekel stops it, rebound, saved off the line by Cronali. Floated to Rodriguez. Van Oekel has it. To get a closer look whether it was Cronali or the post. Either way, a close call, nearly Battery 2-0.
Marcanic got the effort there on goals from that Barajas shot, and it's what I suggested. It comes, and it's very difficult for Matt Van Oekel because his body's in front. He just blocks it. It comes out to Marcanic. He hits it. It does look like you're right. It could be Cronali on the touchline, on the sort of goal line, who kicks it clear. But the quality of the free kick again, it's so difficult for a keeper when there's bodies in front of you. Just to get a block was enough by Matt Van Oekel.
Play continued with a mess of bodies on the ground. Cronali seemed to think he had won a free kick. Martinez wins the ball. More than a half an hour gone here at Patriots Point, along with Manchester United legend Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us tonight for this Eastern Conference semi-final between the Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion. Lone goal so far, Emilio Ikaza, 18 minutes in for the Battery. Highest remaining seed in the East. If they win tonight, they'll host either Louisville or Detroit City. Pasher lets it fly, hopeful at best.
Yeah, it's a long way out. That, what is it, 40 yards? Maybe just is what is sort of frustration. You can see the discussion they're having there. They're upset, Birmingham Legion, because it's not going the way it did at Tampa Bay, where they were able to counter with pace and attack through the middle. Charleston Battery turning out to be a little more difficult. However, once again, 2/3 of the match left. There's no need for Legion to panic yet. They will get chances. They just need to get control of the ball in that midfield, and Enzo Martinez could be the man to help there.
Louisville and Detroit have kicked off in the other conference semifinal. It would be a 9th consecutive conference final appearance for Louisville if they get through.
Wow, that is some record. Absolutely brilliant. I take it nobody else even comes close.
Oh, no. It'd be a first since 2013 for Charleston. It'd be a first ever since their inception in 2019 for Birmingham. And of course, a first ever for Detroit City as well in their second season in the league. Off the face of Ikaza. Pressured Take roof. Shots actually favor Birmingham 7-6.
Really?
Hasn't really felt in any way that's the case.
It hasn't been about shots for me, it's been about crosses. Got so many dangerous ones in the box. Charleston Battery, and that's on the free kicks. That's where all their pressure's coming from.
The total crosses, excluding corners, is 9-4 in favor of Charleston.
That makes more sense.
Factor in the corners then, and they're already up to 6 of those. So 15 total crosses for this Charleston side.
There you go. Those are the stats that make sense.
And Wegbo in some space. Goes down by Dodson. He goes for goal. Fumbled it by Muse, but nobody there for a rebound.
Not much to do so far, Trey Muse. Funny enough, when we spoke to Ben Pierman last week before the Indy match, and said another question we asked him was, what will it take to win the USL Championship? And he discussed obviously other results going his way and winning his games, blah, blah, blah. And he said, and I need a good performance from my goalkeeper, because every once in a while in a playoff match, your keeper's going to be needed to pull a great save or do something special that keeps you in the game. Now, last week he wasn't tested at all. Again, the XG for Indy was 0.14, which means it was literally a day off for Trey Muse. So far he's not been tested, but there will come a time when he's going to have to earn his money, and that could be the difference between Charleston Battery going all the way to the USL Championship and not.
It's already a busier day today. You said 0.14 for Indy last week. Birmingham are already up to a whopping 0.38 expected goals, so already nearly triple that of Indy last week. Offside comes up here on Augie Williams. 10 to go in this first half. F so far kept Williams in check, at least. There's a positive to pull from this first half for Birmingham. He just had that one moment 30 seconds in where he was free. Outside of that, they've neutralized his impacts.
The problem is you have to neutralize not just Augie Williams, you know, Nick Markanik, Arturo Rodriguez, Barajas, etc. And you do all that, and it's a midfielder who comes up and scores, Emilio Icaza. Again, it's the difference between the Charleston side this year and last year is massive, and huge credit to Ben Pierman that they just keep coming at you from everywhere. They play percentage crosses, percentage shots, they put you under pressure. They force them the errors, and they do it week in and week out, and it's very impressive. And yet I've also seen them get beat 7-0 by San Antonio and 4-0 by Indy here at Patriots Point. So occasionally they've had the off day as well.
Started with their roster construction, just you already knew from an early point of the offseason with the names they brought in and the roster overhaul that Lee Cohen and Ben Pierman went through. Potential was there, but potential and seeing that come to fruition with results are two different things. Here's Agudelo, Mensah, and Pasher. Always dangerous around the 18. Pasher lays it off for Mensah. A strong rookie season for Mensah out of Campbell. Drafted in the 3rd round by Real Salt Lake, did not pick up his contract. Ended up here in Birmingham. Martinez. "37 minutes in, this might be the most attacking half possession Birmingham has had sequentially. Agudelo keeps it going. Crognale.
See Birmingham just sitting off here, not looking to put pressure on Charleston Battery until they move over the halfway line.
Segbers, Rodriguez. Arturo Rodriguez was looking backside for Dodson, making that run up from his right back position. Allen. Archer. Roster overhaul that was. Leland Archer, the rock at the back, one of the holdovers, the captain. Free kick on the way.
I think Chris Allen's been one of the most important players in that team that he brought in. Such a good, solid defensive player, intelligent, reads the game. I think he's that anchor in midfield that Ben Pearman wanted. Trey Muse has come in, done a really good job in goals. And a couple of other new players. Even Mark Seppers is a recent signing.
And some common threads there. All three players you just mentioned played for Ben Pearman in Memphis.
Yes.
So some familiarity, and there was a reason they went out and acquired those guys.
Derek Dodson, 100%. And I think it's good thinking from a manager. You want players who know how you operate and what you expect from the team, and they can get it around the locker room a lot quicker than you as a coach can do on your own. So it makes a lot of sense. You just wonder if there's any more to come from Memphis in the off-season.
Not a bad team to pull from, all the success that Ben Pearman had in those couple of years in Memphis.
They got Declan Wynn from Detroit. Declan Wynn, unfortunately, been injured recently, hence Mark Segbers arriving. For a long while, he was really good on that left-hand side for Charleston Battery.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, you get live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Just get the sense that Birmingham has started to get some control in this match now after a 20-minute barrage from the Battery. It's a little bit more even since then. The next 20 minutes have been shared, and that's probably good news for Legion fans. They got the sense that they can at least start to build on this, and hopefully in the second half start to create some good chances. There was a moment there where it looked like Charleston Battery might get a second and a third if Birmingham didn't get hold of the ball.
Finale launches in the direction of Tabor Ataka. Hasn't seen many touches on the ball. Preston Tabor Ataka thus far. Agudelo. Pasher. Back for Agudelo. Nice bit of interplay between those two. Agudelo. Pasher. Floats it backside. There's the equalizer for Birmingham. Prosper Kasim levels it in the 41st. And of course it comes from Pasher and Agudelo.
That's a great header at the far post from Prosper Kasim, but as you mentioned, Tyler Pasher starts it. Agudelo puts the ball in, gets it back, and then Pasher. Have a look at the interplay here. Agudelo just finds a bit of space, gets in there, he tries to go, Pasher follows up, he puts in that far post cross. He knows where he's aiming for, and he aims perfectly. And you can see Trey Muse trying to get across that far post. Just can't block it at that near post. Good header down. And that's that one chance. They've been getting back into the match, Birmingham Legion. And now they're on level times. Now it really is game on.
And that's one that changes the entire complexion of the locker room talk as well. Just a few minutes before halftime, thinking you're going in with a 1-0 lead. Scoreline that may yet change again before the break, but now it's 1-1, just like that.
It's a lovely cross from Tyler Pasher. That wasn't hitting hope to the far post. He had seen that Prosper Kasim was there. He wanted to put it on his head. It was a lovely floated ball in. Trey Muse was scrambling to get to his near post to try and block it. He just couldn't quite get there in time. Decent header. Now it really is all balanced, because as we were saying a few minutes ago, Charleston Battery early on could have even got a second, possibly a third. That's the sort of pressure they were putting on. But Birmingham Legion are right back in this match in terms of ball control, and now in terms of the goals on the board.
Ikaza scored the first goal, now has it erased. Allen. I'd ask you what the coaches will be talking about at halftime, but I'm afraid to, because the way these teams go end to end, 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time is still more than enough for the scoreline to change yet again.
For me, for Ben Pearman, it's just get that ball wide and get some crosses back in. That was what was Birmingham's undoing early on. These balls are flashing across the box, and again, going back to that Augie Williams chance after a few minutes, if he'd have just assumed that Matt Van Oekel was going to miss the ball, he would have just chested that and scored. There's been lots of chances, and those crosses haven't been in the last 20 minutes. There's been hardly anything to bother Matt Van Oekel in goals.
Koenig, Smith going at it. I don't actually know which way this free kick is going. Elton Garcia never pointed. There was contact both ways. Body language would indicate it's a free kick coming out for Birmingham here.
And I think for Tom Sohn going into the locker room, he'll say, guys, you know, we were under a bit of pressure. We dealt with it. We got ourselves back on level terms. We're growing stronger. Second half is ours. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. They've got options on the bench. You know, Preston hasn't got much ball up front. But if you want to, you can bring on Nico Brett. 12 goals this season, so what an option that is. And there's a couple of other really good players that could see action in the second half. So if you're looking at which manager's happier, you probably think that Tom Sohn might be at this stage. And yet, having said that, Ben Pearman is likely to say to his team, guys, first 20 minutes, brilliant. Let's try and reproduce that if we can.
Nico Brett's second all-time leading scorer in this league's history. That is a nice option to have coming in the second half if need be. Well, plenty of options off the bench on the other side as well. Tristan Traeger with 6 goals on the season. You know, Avila with 3 goals and an assist on the season after he joined Charleston on loan in May. Potent bench for both. That's why they're here in the conference semifinal. Don't get this far based on your 11 alone. It comes down to 11 through 18 sometimes. These teams certainly have the depth throughout the squad. Martinez told there will be 1 minute of stoppage time, brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. The clock is about to tick up to 45. Mensah. Agudelo. Through for Smith. There's the confirmation of the 1 minute. Agudelo loses his footing. The one thing that might drive you crazy as a coach, if you're Ben Pearman, though, as he told us before this game, it's all about Pasher and Agudelo in those dual number 10s. You can't let them beat you. And again, to go back to the goal, that's who sprung it for Birmingham. Kasim finished it. And we're told actually Louisville just scored against Detroit City. It came on a penalty. Ownby went down here. And then Lancaster did the honors. 1-0 Louisville early on.
Well, are they going to make it another final? An incredible run. Well, you said there's 8 already.
8 already. This will be 9 if they make it.
Could add every team in the East, and I don't think together they have 9. Brilliant, Lou City. Year after year they do it. These two teams, if Lou City do get through, it's a big if because Detroit are a tough side. These two teams need to earn the right to face Lou City, and right now there's no clear winner.
Charleston would host Lou City. Birmingham would visit Lou City, but they first have these next 45 minutes to worry about after the ebbs and flows of this half. So Charleston ahead first, and Charleston completely in control early. Birmingham slowly grew into the game.
They certainly have fantastic first 20 minutes. Well, what do we count, about 14 or maybe not quite as many as that, but certainly close to 10 good crosses and corners whipped in the box, causing Van Oekel all sorts of problems. But then it just disappeared because Birmingham got back in the match. They got control of the ball. But Ikaza got a crucial goal from a corner. That'll give them plenty of hope for the second half.
It was Ikaza 18 minutes in, Kasim 41 minutes in, and we're level at 1 through 45. Charleston seeking its first conference final since 2013. Birmingham looking for its first ever conference final since they joined the league in 2019. We're through 45. More to come on this beautiful evening in Patriots Point.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
Charleston, Birmingham began our Saturday slate of play here in the USL Championship playoffs, but play overall began last night out west between Sacramento and San Antonio in our first conference semifinal, and it was Sacramento who came through with a 3-1 victory.
Yeah, played so well, dominated San Antonio, especially in the early part of it. Russell Cicerone gets the ball here, and he sort of threads one into the far corner. Keeper gets a hand in it, but can't keep it out. Russell Cicerone has been such a wonderful player for Sac Republic, and that put them one up, and then they just kept that pressure on. Yes, they're at home, but still they're up against a fantastic San Antonio side. And you'll see Nick Ross will pop up in a moment and score. This one hits the post, comes out. It gets recirculated here from Cicerone, and Nick Ross will step in here and have a wallop and gets that into the corner. Not quite a wallop, it's actually a little, more of a little sort of threaded ball that just trickles over in the end. And that was 2-0, and still they kept going. And then Viader will get a chance on the break to get ahead of the defenders and try and slot this one in the back of the net. Good little finish with his left foot from Viader. And there was a 91st minute goal from Olawase for San Antonio, but by then the match was lost.
And we will have a new champion in 2023 with the reigning champions going down. Tonight's out-of-town scores brought to you by the Charleston Airport. The aforementioned Sacramento 3-1 victory over San Antonio last night. Louisville City up 1-0, 25 minutes in on Detroit City, and a terrific game later tonight, Gary, between Orange County and Phoenix Rising.
Wow, well, I was on the call for that Phoenix match at San Diego Loyal, and what an incredible match that was, with a winning goal seconds from the end of extra time. If they produce anything like that again, Phoenix and Orange County, it'll be a match definitely worth watching. And
if we see anything like that in our remaining 45 minutes plus potential stoppage time, we're in for a treat tonight. More to come from the Low Country.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The battle starts today.
Comes in, diving header! Arturo Rodriguez!
Milanolovsky! He's different! He really is!
Now, it's time to fight to the final whistle.
And beyond.
So the bull had eyes!
Opportunity! Yes! It's time to put it all on the line.
It's time to shine.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
At the break here between Charleston and Birmingham, all knotted up at 1 after the first 45. Got 8 teams around the league remaining coming into this weekend. Already one has said goodbye in San Antonio. Take a look at the full bracket here in the USL Championship playoffs, brought to you by Hisense. Gary, I don't really want to ask you for a prediction because I think we saw after last week that predictions are risky business, but it has been a terrific season with parity throughout, and it's why you saw all the upsets you did last week.
Yeah, upsets on the eastern side, not so much on the west. You got the number 1 seed, Sac Republic, got through. Orange County might win, and that's going to be a close one. But if they did, it would be the 1 and 2 seeds going through. If not, then it would be a 6 seed. So there might be a surprise there. But the big surprises in the east was Tampa Bay being beaten by Birmingham Legion again. What a great performance by the Legion. And of course, Detroit winning at Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I'm like, if you'd have asked me if those 2 results had happened like that, I would have said, nah, come on. And they did. So again, congrats to Detroit. What a win. But now we've got to fight back against Lou City to make that win all the more worthwhile.
Fun quirk for the number nerds out there like myself. You have 2 of each seed, of course, coming in the postseason. 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, and so on and so forth. Only 1 of each won last round.
Yes, you're right.
1 seed, 1 2 seed, 1 3, and so on and so forth. 1, and that's what we have remaining. So that's some fun with numbers for you at home as you're waiting for half number 2 to begin here, where it's been a lot of fun through 45 between Charleston and Birmingham. Will we have 45 to play? Will we have 75 to play? Will we have more beyond that? Stay tuned. It's a good one brewing here between the Battery and the Legion in the conference semifinal.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Players trickling back out onto the field as we're set for half number 2. At Patriots Point between the Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion. Number 3 seed Battery, number 7 seed Birmingham hoping for another upset, but they were the side who was upset early after Ikaza scored 17 minutes in.
Barajas with the corner, nobody marking Ikaza. He gets a free header there. Jake Roof sort of comes to him late. I don't know if it was his player to mark. And he gets up. He's not the tallest, but if you're unmarked in the box and the cross is good, get ahead to it. Nothing that Matt Van Oekel could do about that.
From there, it was a chance to make it 2, 3, maybe 4 for Charleston, but it was Birmingham who eventually grew into the game and started finding chances of their own.
Wegbo here has a shot that was quite uncomfortable for Trey Muse. He should have really held it first time, but not a real problem. But you're right, they started getting into the game, and that's when you started to see Tyler Pasha and Juan Agudelo get on the ball a bit more often, and that's how they got the equalizing goal. Agudelo, nice little touches, stops, makes a little run here. Tyler Pasha sees him. He has a go in the box. Tyler Pasha's following up as the ball comes back. He's already aware that there's a player at the far post, and that was Prosper Kasim, and he puts a beautiful floater ball in for Prosper to connect that with real pace and give Trey Muse no chance whatsoever.
There you have it on the backside again, Kasim. See how close you had Trey Muse coming to that. Look at the stats of the half brought to you by Heineken. It's dead even. Goal each, 9 shots each, possession nearly even, expected goals, 0.53 for Charleston, 0.54 for Birmingham. It was an even game, plain and simple.
Even in terms of the shots, but not the crosses. For me, there's a huge difference. Charleston first 20 minutes absolutely smothered Birmingham. And Birmingham lucky to come away just 1 down. So they don't really include crosses in the sort of stats, and I think they can play a huge part. But Birmingham Legion have come stronger in the second part of that first half, and if they keep on going, the Legion, this is going to be a very close match, and as I said, could swing either way.
Got our first substitution of the night as well. Tristan Traeger on. Fidel Barajas, who had the assist on the Charleston goal from the corner, comes off. Traeger, 6 goals, 1 assist to his name on the season. Barajas night ends through 45.
Interesting substitutes, and maybe they feel that the sort of greater maturity of Tristan Traeger's important. He's 24, he's a lot older, of course, than the 17-year-old Barajas. They feel that coming on, he might also add something different. And again, Ben Pearman not afraid to make changes when he feels it might shake up the opposition and, of course, lift his own team.
A 5-0 win last week for Charleston, 3-0 win last week for Birmingham. Much different complexion to this game through 45 tonight for both of these teams, and we're underway in the second half. 1-1 between Charleston and Birmingham with a spot in the Eastern Conference Final on the line. Happy to have you with us this evening. With Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. You mentioned Traeger, a little bit older, a little bit more mature than Barajas. You get into a deeper conversation there about experience, age, been there, done that, and how that helps in knockout football. That squarely lies on the side of this Birmingham side.
I think also what it does to the players around you is it says the manager's just shuffled things up. He's brought something different on. If you're Birmingham Legion, you're looking at Tristan Traeger saying, where's he going to fit in? What's he going to do? What threat does he bring? I mean, you know that beforehand because you've seen him play, but in that moment, he might not be in a position that you expect him to be in. So it does put the defending team, you know, on the back foot for a few minutes while they figure things out.
And a free kick coming here for Charleston.
Courtesy of Tristan Traeger.
Traeger, a nice pickup from Atlanta, where he spent last year. Talked about those players who came over from Memphis and have helped bolster this roster on the Charleston side. Traeger onto that list of key additions from last year, and another free kick coming here. Maybe the first card of the night. Prosper Kasim tiptoeing that line, seemed tactical in nature, just pulled Segbers down from behind, but still no card shown tonight.
I thought that was potentially worthy of a yellow. Once you, as you say, it's a professional fight. You've pulled someone back, 2 hands. Let's have a look. 2 hands on the shoulder is the 1, 2, borderline. If you let that one go, though, you have to be consistent, that's all.
Now a corner, so methodically marching their way up the field. A free kick near the halfway line, a free kick from closer, and now a corner from where they've already scored tonight. This will be the first one, though, that would typically be an in-swinger from Barajas. That'll instead be an out-swinger from Rodriguez.
And important that Birmingham stay tight with the likes of Leland Archer, One Palm, all these big guys. Augie Williams, can't let them get away from you.
Rodriguez overcooks it a bit. Allen will come through and rescue.
Wasted opportunity there. I'm just saying first half how the quality of the crosses was absolutely superb.
Ikaza, delivery of his own to Williams, off the bar! Rebound over the bar! Augie Williams has been silent for 47.5 minutes. Just like that, nearly shook up the scoreline.
Ikaza putting a decent ball in, which is just what we were saying you need to do, quality. And see what happens when you put quality in. Augie Williams, great header, Matt Van Oekel at full stretch, and the volley coming under all sorts of pressure there just goes wide. And that's what Charleston did first half for the first 20 minutes, and they seem to have started the second half with that same vein of form.
Not quite a like-for-like comparison because the setup was a little bit different. And the whistle blows here for offside. Little shades of the Robin Van Persie World Cup header there. The dive from Williams, just looping it over the keeper, hoping that it got under the bar, but not the same fortune on his side here. Great look from our camera crew. The wishful highs of Williams watching it as he completed his dive there. Maybe that brings him to life. The only chance he really had in that first half again was that chance 30 seconds in that he let go through. He thought he had won a free kick here, but play on, says Elton Garcia.
He does seem to have come to life, Augie Williams. I wonder again if Ben Pearman's had a quiet word and said, look, you're not impacting this game at all. You need to put your body about. You need to get in there with your head. You need to have an effect. If the ball doesn't come to you, then go and make things happen.
That was something Tom Sohn said they had to be wary of. Even when it's not Williams doing the damage, he sucks two defenders with him, and now all of a sudden you have Barajas or Markanek or now Traeger running off of him and creating some issues. Here is a ball to the right side for Traeger. Agudelo. Tibor Taka. Cut off well by Palma. The same case for Tibor Taka that you can make though for Williams, where he's been awfully quiet tonight. A few touches on the ball here or there. Not much has come his way.
You probably think that Tom Sohn's looking at that going, if he doesn't really impact the game in the next 10 minutes or so, maybe that's the time for Nico Brett. Some matches just work for you, and Preston against Tampa Bay Rowdies was absolutely phenomenal with his pace up front. Gave them all sorts of headaches, but he just really hasn't impacted yet. I say probably got another 10 minutes or so to impress the coach, otherwise he could be heading towards the bench.
Still 1-0 between Louisville and Detroit. Goal from Cameron Lancaster on a penalty. We showed you it earlier. Now in the 38th minute there, still 1-0. Goal came in the 15th minute. Markanek. It's hard to really pick who the biggest addition to this squad was this year, but one of the popular choices would be Markanek, and the way he came in, a preseason trialist, that was more of a formality. In the words of Ben Pearman, they always knew they were going to sign him, and here he is again. Markanek with 9 goals in the regular season, threads it through for Williams, who felt he was offside, so he left it, got in position. Ball was behind him a bit, and the moment's gone for the Battery.
It's almost identical to the first half. Charleston Battery getting balls whipped in, crosses.
Williams clear by Ruth.
think it's the same message to Birmingham Legion. Hold on for 15 minutes. Weather the storm, don't concede, and then slowly work your way back in the match. But credit the Battery, they come flying out here second half.
It was a great move, too, by Williams. Sensed he was offside, left it for Marcanic, and retreated to the far post for a service. How many strikers might have been in the moment, selfish, just gone to touch the ball, and it would have been an offside, ending the attack.
As Ben Pearman says, he wants his players to play for the team, not for themselves, and that's possibly a good example.
For Traeger, he'll get there. Anchors the ball centrally. Marcanic over both Marcanic and Smith, and now with Pasher. Fistful of jersey from Ikaza. Out to Kasim. Cut off by Segbers.
Preston's pace, which was electric last week, just not getting him away from Segbers or any of the defenders, and maybe the Charleston defenders have just worked him out and managed to keep a yard ahead, or maybe they're a bit quicker than the Tampa Bay Rowdies defenders. I'm not quite sure what the answer is, but just battling to have an impact on this game, Preston.
Turnover here. He's primed to make his run, but won back well by Traeger. Standout collegiately at Air Force before he was drafted by Atlanta United. Had a good year in USL with Atlanta 2 last season. Rodriguez earns a corner.
Well, Marcanic was trying to make an angle for him to pass the ball, but just couldn't quite make it happen. In the end, Rodriguez deciding the shot was the best option. And they've got a corner again. Another opportunity to whip balls into dangerous areas.
Rodriguez to the back post, snatched by Van Oekel. All the corners they've had, I believe that's the first time Van Oekel has confidently come out and taken it himself.
Well taken by the keeper. There were 1 or 2 in the first half. I wasn't quite sure if he could come for. And the one he did and missed, and Augie Williams wasn't ready for it. But he's recovered well from that bad gash on his leg. Matt Van Oekel, not easy to play with a bad injury. And he's certainly tough enough and typical goalkeeper, crazy enough.
Either he's recovered well enough or he is gritting through it more than people realize right now.
Either way, he's doing a good job out there, Matt Van Oekel.
And suffered a nasty gash on his leg last week against Tampa Bay. Subbed off right before the half. And judging based on the tone of Tom Sohn in our chat ahead of this game, he didn't sound confident in Van Oekel, but his closing words were, he is a tough word I can't say on the air, and he might be out there. Yeah. So that's the part that came true.
He's still got a job to do, Matt Van Oekel. If he can keep a clean sheet from here on inwards, then maybe a chance to get a result, Legion. Either that or it goes all the way to penalties.
Well, that's something to keep in mind, too. It might be telling when we get there. Is he fit enough for penalties? Was he fit enough to get through the game? Now, of course, you might say if he could play 90 to 120 minutes, why can't he play penalties? Well, you don't know how a game's going to go. You know in penalties, you're about to dive left and right 5 times sequentially. Corner coming now. Still a long way to go, though, before we start talking about penalties. A little creeps up on you quickly if you're not careful. Tyler Pasher.
Very good at defending set pieces, Charleston Battery, that haven't had much luck, Birmingham Legion, with the corners they've had, whereas on the other side, balls have flashed across that Birmingham Legion box, and defenders have not kept their marking tight, as we saw with the first goal by Emilio Ikaza. And again, I think a number of managers who played against Charleston Battery have said, credit to Ben Pearman, for a very well-organized professional team that's gritty, that keeps going, that plays the percentages, and just really a tough team to play against. Unless you're San Antonio and you come here and win 7-0.
Well, the last laugh for now belongs to Charleston. San Antonio season ended yesterday. Charleston still going for now, at least. Foul called against Martinez. Battery have a brand new look on and off the field this year, thanks to Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including the custom 2023 primary, secondary, and alternate kits by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. Williams went down a bit easy. Shot a glance toward Elton Garcia.
We saw a minute ago Enzo Martinez quite high up in the field for Birmingham, and that's where you think he's going to create the most danger. Obviously, it leaves a bit of a gap in midfield for the counter-attack. That's why he hasn't pushed forward often. But the moment he does, you start to see opportunities for Birmingham Legion.
Brian Ownby has made it 2-0 Louisville.
Wow.
Let's see if we can show you that at some point. The word just came across. Ownby made it 2 for Lou City. So they are within touching distance now of a 9th consecutive conference final. Anything can happen in this funny sport, but Detroit City, not very often this year have they gotten beyond 1 goal in a game. They were bottom of the league in goals scored. Now they'll have to score at least twice to keep the game going, and here it came off of a corner ricochet. Finally, Karam's in. So Ownby won the penalty that led to the Lancaster goal. Now he gets one of his own, and Lou City are flying against Detroit City.
He's such a quality player, Brian Ownby, probably the best player in that Lou City squad, in my opinion. Such a clever player. You add on Cam Lancaster and some of the younger players that are brought in, Wilson Harris and the good defenders with Sean Tosh and Wes Sharpie, etc. They're a really, really decent side. Maybe it hasn't quite been shown in their league position of finishing 5th, but the winner here, assuming they do play Lou City, are going to have a tough game.
Probably the last team you'd like to see in their history. Ball curled in, header by Ikaza, only to Agudelo. And it's out for a corner. Not the best header clear from Ikaza. Nearly put it on a platter for the MLS veteran.
Got 15 minutes is up. They've weathered the storm, Birmingham, and here they slowly come back into the game. They've had a couple of corners already, and they're beginning to threaten.
Just the 3rd corner now for the Legion. Compared to 7 on the other end for the Battery. Pasher. Agudelo is there, ball still loose in front, saved off the line. Kassim keeps it alive, blocked in front this time by Palma. Sent back in, out for a corner. And Charleston survives that flurry, but another corner to defend.
This is the advantage of set pieces and getting it into the mix. You just don't know what's going to happen. The ball gets missed, then it's bubbling all over the place. Nwegba has the first effort. Prosper Kassim then has his shot blocked. Gets fired in here from Colin Smith. And, you know, a little bit of luck that can end in the back of the net.
Agudelo. That's a foul called against Juan Agudelo. On that last look, it was actually Augie Williams, of all players, who was back helping out his goalkeeper on his goal line. And it seems we've arrived at the first yellow card of the evening for Juan Agudelo. Brought to you by Spinks Convenience Stores located across South Carolina. They've been brewing for Agudelo. It was about the 3rd or 4th time that he had drawn the ire of Elton Garcia.
For me, it's an unnecessary yellow card to give away. The player's still in his own half of the pitch. He's no real threat. You've got plenty of red shirts on that side. Now you have to tread carefully. You know, one mistimed tackle and you could be off the pitch. So I just don't see the value in you know, you haven't got much forward. If the player's on the edge of your box, yeah, absolutely, you'll take the yellow card. But on the halfway line, really?
Agudelo now 30 years of age, feels older because he's been around for so long. He burst out on the scene in 2010 with the New York Red Bulls, top rookie in MLS that year. Nearly 30 caps for the U.S. men's national team.
All the subs on the side there, Birmingham Legion subs anyway, you can see, and it's about now that coaches start to look at making changes. And Mikey Lopez is there, Nico Brett, Gabby Alves, Tyler Freeman, Grayson Dupont, Nathaniel Kuvita. All good options one way or another for Coach Tom Sohn, just to, you know, freshen things up and get some extra legs on the pitch that can do a bit more running than some of the players who are now feeling the effects of the match. 60 minutes in already.
Now a glorified corner essentially for Charleston with this free kick. The physical play that we've seen in this game, mostly one-sided.
This is a dangerous position because you're extra few yards in, so that ball's going to arrive in that box quicker than it would from a corner. You whip it in near post, it could cause the keeper all sorts of problems.
Just a one-man wall of Tyler Pasher. Rodriguez to the back post, headed centrally. Icaza sends it back into the mix. Martinez, can he spring a counter? Kasim, overlap coming from Pasher. Fed to Pasher, cuts in on his left foot, couldn't get it off.
Again, good defending by Charleston Battery, getting numbers back quickly, winning those 50-50s. You can see the danger now as we start moving into the final third of the match. You've got to be careful not to be caught on the counter-attack. If you do, you've got to get back quickly. Emilio Icaza, the goal scorer, with the tackle. And now you sort of think that one goal might settle the match, so both teams start getting nervous about throwing bodies forward and leaving themselves vulnerable to counter-attacks.
Moses Mensah, the service. First result of the night under the USL umbrella is in the books in USL League One. Old friends of the championship, Charlotte Independence won on penalties to make the USL League One final. Mike Jeffrey still coaching there. Dane Kelly still up top with Gabriel Obertan. So the Independents are into the final next Sunday. You can find that on ESPN2 for the USL League One final. And right now, could be another old friend and soon to be reacquainted friend that could be joining them in the final. North Carolina FC announced they're coming back up to the championship next season. They're up 1-0 in their semifinal, so it could be North Carolina against Charlotte as things stand in USL League One. Segbers. Got Mikey Lopez and Nico Brett getting ready to come on for the Legion.
Makes sense about now, as we suggested, for Tom Sohn just to freshen things up. Get some different options on the bench, and wouldn't surprise me as Preston Tabor Itaka is one of those taken off.
And that is confirmed now. Tabor Itaka off for Nico Brett.
Such a superb performance away at Tampa Bay Rowdies. Preston Tabor Itaka just hasn't quite worked out for him here today. Now it's Nico Brett's chance to show what he can do.
And Wegbo will come off as Lopez replaces him. Club's leader in goals, Nico Brett, second all-time in USL Championship. 81 goals in his career in this league. See how that impacts things for the Legion. Allen steps into the space. He's tried 2 from distance tonight. That time, though. And another corner on the way for Charleston.
Again, more pressure, more telling balls. XG won't count this, but as a defender, you know you're under pressure. You know these balls are bombing in that 6-yard box, and getting a nice little bend on some of those corners, makes it difficult to read as a goalkeeper.
Rodriguez, good service, punched away by Van Oekel. Every single one, it seems like, is dropped right in the center of or the top of the 6. So good on the corners, whether it's been Rodriguez or Barajas tonight. Now it's Traeger centering. Pinball's around it, falls nicely, and deflects in! Markanek took the shot, had some help on the way, and Charleston's back in front.
That's a great strike from Markanek, and that comes from pressure, getting high balls in the box, knocking them straight back, and look at the quality. Firstly, Emilio Icaza, long ball in, but look at the first time ball back, no trying to control it. Traeger knocks it back. Yeah, defenders don't clear it, but it's not easy as a defender to get rid of it, and it drops straight from Markanek. Maybe the header could have been better away from danger, but a deflection of Enzo Martinez, and in the end, hits the back of the net. Markanek, as he did in the match where they beat them 1-0 2 weeks ago, he's the man who comes up with a crucial goal.
We'll take another look at it. It actually might have been Dodson that ball ricocheted off of. For now, it's Markanek's goal to put them in front. Let's see. Markanek blasts it here. Right there off the left knee, I believe, of Dodson. Right there is where it changes direction. Derek Dodson's going to end up with that goal. He didn't know much about it. Either way, it's Charleston ahead, 2-1. Dazzling play brought to you by Diamonds Direct.
Good luck, Derek Dodson, taking that off Nick Markanek. He's going to say that was going in anyway. But it's just pressure, and we've credited Charleston Battery a few times in this match, and it's just balls into dangerous areas, knocked down quickly, pressure put on. Yes, the defending could have been better, but that comes because it's so quick at you. You try and head it away, it hits one of your own players, drops Markanek, and next thing, back of the net. Now, Birmingham have to respond once again.
Another card coming out of the pocket here. It's yellow. Tempers flaring a bit. Roof picks up the card. Allen not happy that was the color of it.
It's a bad tackle. It's definitely a yellow card. I'd like to think there was no intent. He's gone. It's very, very late. It's borderline. If there was a VAR to look at that time and time again, you could think that that was done on purpose, but given the benefit of the doubt, and that's what the referee, Elton Garcia, does.
Well, that fan thinks it was red.
That's cute.
Yellow card brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores located across South Carolina.
Now the players arguing, and it's getting a little bit chippy, and Birmingham Legion will be frustrated. They would like to have got themselves in the lead from having pulled back from 1-0 down to 1-1. They would like to have gone ahead. Once again, they're chasing this match, and the problem now, with 20 minutes left, they keep chasing, they leave themselves vulnerable to the counter-attack, and that's where they could get punished by Charleston Battery. So, we get into the business end of the game now.
I'm going to show you the goal again momentarily here. So watch, Markanek takes the strike. Right here it hits Enzo Martinez. Right there it hits Derek Dodson. Little pinball wizard, and Charleston goes ahead. So Markanek still being given credit for the goal. That'll change to Dodson, confirmed. But as you pointed out, you thought the initial deflection came off of Martinez. You weren't wrong. Yeah. It did.
It was another one.
Dodson. And through all of that, you can't judge things. You can do your best geometric guesstimation. If that ball stayed on its true line, it might have been stopped by Van Oekel, who seemed to have it lined up before the initial deflection and the secondary deflection. We'll never know. And maybe another opportunity now for Charleston, saved by Van Oekel, denying Markanek.
That's going to start opening up the match, because Birmingham have got to have a go. Look at these red shirts bombing in.
Nico Brett, offside. Couldn't handle it anyway. You're not missing anything, by the way, between Lou City and Detroit City. It's 2-0 at the half for the boys in purple. Will they be taking a trip to Charleston next week? Will Danny Cruz and Ben Pierman be getting friendly again in the conference final?
There's a bit of history there, is there?
A little bit, a little bit. Started in Memphis last year. Some of those terrific battles between Louisville and Memphis spilled into this year. Some words exchanged in the media by both coaches. You have to be fair and say it was Ben Pierman mainly initiating it, but Danny Cruz had his own role in it as well. Something to keep in the back of your mind if that's the matchup next week. Still not done yet.
The battle here is Charleston Battery want to pin Birmingham in their own half and work this match to a conclusion. For Birmingham Legion, they've got to get on the attack, which means they might have to push Enzo Martinez higher up the pitch, leave some gaps in midfield, and just rely on their centre-backs to do a job.
Derek Dodson has officially been awarded the goal. Now has Charleston ahead 2-1. Heavy contact there in the box as Markanik went down.
They're working so hard again, Charleston Battery, just to stop Enzo Martinez getting forward and being in that creative role. Turnover ball once again for the Battery.
Kaza carries. Free kick for the Battery.
Going back to that last goal, what a lovely ball in from Ikaza, but the pass from Traeger, first time, he knew straight away when it came in that the danger for Birmingham Legion was in moving that ball quickly, so he plays the immediate first touch straight back in, and that's what causes all the problems for the Birmingham defense.
Stays in for Markanik. Seemed like he wanted to shield that one out for a corner, but the ball just ran out of steam. Intercepted by Palma. One cleanly in the eyes of the official by Tyler Pasher. Agudelo. Free kick for the Legion. Quarter of an hour remains. Temper starting to flare a bit between these two sides, but expected in the crucible of a conference semifinal. Not much time remaining. The home side having just gone up a goal. If you're not experiencing that heightened sense of urgency now, then when will you? Now or never.
Yeah, your point's 100% valid, and what's making it difficult is that they're hunting so well, Charleston Battery. It's frustrating Birmingham Legion. They keep losing the ball in midfield and having to chase to get it back. Here they go again. Fantastic work by Charleston Battery.
It went too quickly on the restart. Augie Williams was offside. Over the top now, it's Martinez, and he centers it. Nobody there lurking. Now Nico Brett having a chat with Martinez that he wanted the square ball back toward the penalty spot.
See where Enzo Martinez is now. He's in the box, he's pushing forward, and when he does, as you saw a moment ago, he can be so creative around the box. But in pushing him forward, you leave a big gap in the middle for the counter-attack, and that's the risk that Birmingham Legion have to take now.
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play. Download now.
XG very much in favor of Charleston Battery now, nearly 1.5, and for Birmingham Legion still 0.9. So it's just proven that's not taken into account all the crosses as well, but just shows you how much on the front foot they've been in the second half of the Battery. At half-time, XGs were equal at about 0.5.
To your point, crosses 21-12 in favor of Charleston. Corners 9-4.
And the quality of the ball in is also what's made a big difference. Such good crosses by Charleston Battery.
Martinez, Pasher, to be leery of his left foot if he cuts in. Back for Smith. Space for Agudelo, pings it through. Hopeful for Martinez, shielded out for a goal kick. It almost looks like they are completely going for broke now, Birmingham. Is it a little bit too early in your mind, still with a dozen minutes to play, or do you have to commit to Martinez being forward now?
I think you have to commit. I mean, these 10 minutes will fly by for Birmingham Legion, so I think from about the 75th minute onwards, they pushed him forward. And you just got to rely on your centre-backs to read that space, that defensive midfield role, and try and cover up behind Enzo Martinez. But you have to go for it. You might not get many chances between now and the end, even if you're attacking.
Gaza scored 17 minutes in. Kasim equalized in the 41st. And then on a shot that deflected a couple of times by Nick Markanek, Derek Dodson. Slight glance off his knee. That made it 2-1 Charleston. It almost looked more like a hockey goal. All the traffic in front, the slightest deflection to get it past the goalie. This one all works the same. Now it's Smith to get it back for Birmingham. Lost it. Lopez. Smith. Shields off the would-be defender. Smith still looking for support. That'll stay Birmingham's way.
Colin Smith, he scored against Monterey Bay a couple of games or 3 games ago in that 2-0 win. Down that right-hand side, got in the box one-on-one with his defender and beat him. And so he can influence this game if he can get himself into that attacking area.
Mensah. For Kasim, who's taking up post on that left side. For the substitutions were made by Birmingham. That saw Brett and Lopez come on. 10 to play. This might be the point of the match where Charleston has 9 guys back, the 10th being Augie Williams waiting at midfield for that ball over the top and maybe the icing on the cake to make it 3.
Yeah, you might not be wrong, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the odd extra sub brought on for fresh legs, a Beto Avila perhaps, or Andrew Booth, Robbie Crawford. There's a couple of AJs on the bench. Just, you know, bring fresh legs on just to keep running hard in that midfield and limiting what both Enzo Martinez and Juan Agudelo can do from a midfield position.
First one's going to be Robbie Crawford coming on for Arturo Rodriguez. It leaves Charleston with 3 subs remaining and still 2 windows at which to use them. They made one of those changes at halftime. On the other side, it is 3 subs remaining for Birmingham and also 2 windows remaining. They made a double switch in the same window.
It's a good option, Robbie Crawford, 30 years of age, so experienced, former Glasgow Rangers player, 57 appearances for Glasgow Rangers, which is very impressive.
Birmingham getting ready to counter. Gabriel Alves walking his way over to the halfway line. See him there just at the bottom of your screen. Looks like he's ready. Some final words of encouragement, pat on the back from Tom Sohn. Second time in their club history they've made a conference semifinal. Never made a conference final, Birmingham, since coming into the league in 2019. It'll be Kasim who has their lone goal of the evening coming off for Alves.
Tom Sohn saying to us that he felt this was the best group of players he's ever had at the club. And he really felt that if they could play like they did against Tampa Bay on their day, if they can play to their full ability, he said they can go all the way. Just haven't quite seen it from Agudelo and Pasha, have we? The way they were, and Preston, the way they were against Tampa Bay Rowdies.
He said it point blank in our conversation. If I were on another team, I would not want to play Birmingham right now. He was that confident in his group, but also very quick to point out that the floor of this group could be very ugly at times. The ceiling, there's no telling what the ceiling could look like, but the floor could be ugly. His message to the team this week was, let's not remind ourselves of the floor. I wouldn't say they've played to their floor today, but it hasn't quite been to the ceiling either.
No, it hasn't been. It's nowhere near as effective as it was against Tampa Bay Rowdies. But again, you've got to give Charleston credit. They just, as we said a few times, they just stop you from playing. They're in your face. They just put pressure on you all the time, and you've got to credit them for that.
AJ Cochran getting ready. Another big aerial presence. As you imagine, Birmingham might start sending the balls in. Have to start keeping an eye on Alex Cronali as well. In the past, when they've been down and need a goal, Birmingham, they've shown they're not afraid to send Cronali forward as essentially a target 9. It'll be Markanek who leaves for Cochran, who had a goal but then didn't have a goal because it glanced off of Dodson. But he, in some way at least, contributed to what could be the match winner. Wonder if anybody's told him yet that the goal's not his.
He's probably walking off thinking he's the match winner and waving at the crowd, and I still think he should be given it. I mean, it was going towards goal. Dodson was probably trying to get out the way when it hit him, so I don't see why he should get the credit.
Oh, Dodson absolutely was trying to get out of the way. You could see it in his body language. Dodson's taking a step to his left out of the path of the ball. It just happens to glance off of his knee. They all count the same. So 6 to go now. Charleston, include for the first time since 2013, make it to a semifinal. They won the title in 2012, got back to that semifinal in 2013. It's been a lot of quarterfinal losses, first round losses since then. Saw their lengthy streak of making the postseason end in 2021. Abysmal year last year, and then the best year-over-year turnover in league history from last year to this year. Possibly into the conference final.
You have to bear in mind the great job Mike Anhauser did in years gone by in getting them there every season, season after season.
Agudelo almost found Pasher. It was Ikaza who barely got there. Now launching for Williams. Second half has begun in Louisville, where Lou City lead 2-0 over Detroit City. Brett. It's dug out by Charleston, and that will be a card for Lopez. Grayson DuPont, the next player to enter for Birmingham. He'll replace Jake Roof.
That there is a yellow card. That's the frustration that now Birmingham Legion players are feeling. They know that clock is ticking down, and nothing worse when you're trying to impact the game and the opposition just seem to be able to stop you at every point. Talking of that, DuPont. Grayson DuPont. Let's see what he can do.
...2008 through 2020. Charleston made the playoffs every year. Lopez picked up that Spinks yellow card in that run from 08 to 20. And they lifted the trophy in 2010. They lifted the trophy in 2012. Made the semifinal in 2013. Have not been back to a semifinal since. That streak is just a few minutes from ending. Contrast that with Louisville, who could be going to a 9th straight conference final. And that could be your matchup right here at Patriots Point a week from today.
And it's not been lucky from Charleston's point of view. I'm just looking through their XG, expected goals, but against Indy, a 5-0 win, 2.25. That's a whole bunch of expected goals to create. Previous match, they beat the same Birmingham side 1-0 with 1.77 expected goals, over 1 against Miami and 2.64 against El Paso. So they do create opportunities by whipping balls in, normally with a better quality than that one. We've seen throughout the first 20 minutes of the first half and a good portion at the start of the second half, just great crosses whipped in, good response from players, losing markers, hitting balls first time, putting defenders under pressure. And so it's not like they play and they hope to get a goal. They create a lot of chances, and that's why they've been getting wins.
Don't miss a minute of the action as the journey to USL glory continues. Conference finals the weekend of November 4th and 5th on ESPN+, all concluding with the USL Championship final November 12th on ESPN2 and SiriusXM FC channel 157. Special day that'll be. Another champion crowned. Won't be a repeat. San Antonio bounced last night by Sacramento.
See the body language for the Birmingham players, for me, is it's dropped a bit. They've got to try and keep that passion going. Enzo Martinez is shouting at one or two of them, but they just seem to have looked at the clock and gone, okay, that's it, time's running out.
Waiting for word on stoppage time to see just how much sand in the hourglass Birmingham has remaining. Update from USL League One, North Carolina up 2-0 on Northern Colorado. Again, you can catch that League One final next Sunday on ESPN2. Charlotte Independence waiting for an opponent. Pasher back and forth with Agudelo. Alves, 90th minute here in Mount Pleasant.
Every Charleston player by Augie Williams is in the last 18 yards of the pitch.
Sent in, punched away. Martinez. Back out for Cronali. Floats it, top of the 6. Comes all the way out for Alves. Punishes it, but it's blocked, and a fired up block by Derek Dodson. There will be 4 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. 4 minutes. Cronali given away. Segbers forces his way through. Advantage is played over the top for Williams. Flag stays down. Augie Williams with no support. It'll be just him for now. Williams cutting, shooting, and it's saved by Van Oekel.
Good save from Matt Van Oekel. That was a hard shot from Augie Williams. He had to get down quickly to his left-hand side. Strong left arm. It just keeps his team in this match for a few minutes longer.
Remember that if Birmingham finds an equalizer. First genuine save he's had to make in quite a while. Cronali. Derek Dodson's 68th minute deflection will be the winner for now. And there you see Cronali, top of the line. They finally pushed him fully forward to be the target man, but it leaves them vulnerable at the back. Traeger, 2v2 with Williams to his right. Tristan Traeger cuts in. Traeger saved again by Van Oekel. And now they can take some more time, easing their way out to the corner.
That's the risk that Birmingham have had to take. They've had to throw bodies forward, risk being caught in the counter-attack, rely on their keeper to make saves, and that's exactly what Matt Van Oekel has been able to do. But all this while, it just works that clock down. By the way, in the previous match between these two teams, it was Derek Dodson's header, and Mark Marcanic finishing it off. Now it's Mark Marcanic's shot, and Derek Dodson taking a lot of credit for very little, but somehow they've worked together again to be the undoing, possibly, of Birmingham Legion.
Cameron Lancaster has struck again. It's 3-0 Louisville with 30 minutes to play there. You can never know in this sport, but it's starting to certainly look like Louisville is through. And if that result holds and this one holds on for 2 more minutes, it'll be Charleston hosting Louisville a week from now.
It's a corner, and they're not happy, Birmingham, but the linesman couldn't be any closer.
And this time it's out for a goal kick. Final minute here. Louisville just made it 4. I think we're ready to go ahead and say that one's done. So Lou City, for the 9th straight time, will be heading to a conference final.
Yeah, that's tough for Detroit City, but they'll look back at that win away at Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and that will be the high point of what's been a tough season for them, and done really well under the circumstances with limited budget. But here, for to quickly summarize, I think Charleston Battery, assuming they go on and win this now, have deserved it. They've created more chances, put more pressure on, and they come out second half looking to win it with more energy than Birmingham Legion.
And they stun this crowd, Birmingham. No intercepted, 30 seconds to play. To get everybody forward now for the Legion. That's what Van Oekel is trying to do. He'll be the last man at midfield. Mensah. Martinez gets there off his left knee, and that might be it here. A year removed from the lowest win total in the 30-year history of the club. A year removed from a 2nd straight year not in the playoffs. The Charleston Battery are going to the conference final.
Fantastic a performance. Not as easy as the 5-0 over Indy, that's for certain. But they've battled throughout. They put pressure on early in the first half. They put pressure on early in the second half. They got that go-ahead goal. They've defended as they can defend. It's been absolutely brilliant. They've earned the right for a home match against what looks almost certainly to be Lou City. So the fans will have more enjoyment to come next week when they host the Eastern Conference final. But brilliantly played, Charleston Battery. Birmingham Legion just not quite as effective as they were against Tampa Bay Rowdies last week.
And the Heineken man of the match, Emilio Icaza, scored the opening goal, not the winning goal, but a beast in the midfield all night long. Just terrific in every way.
Oh, I thought he was fantastic. And in fact, he was part and parcel of the second goal as well. It was his long ball into the box that Traeger cut back to Marcanic for that shot on goal. So for me, Emilio Icaza, well deserved. And again, not one of the biggest players, and he scores from a corner to give them the early lead.
Final score brought to you by Wicked Weed. They'll continue the celebration now and be ready for a conference final on this soil next week. Charleston wins at 2-1 over Birmingham. We wrap it up from a rowdy Patriots point after this.
Think big. Something life-changing. I'm talking education. Let's get inventive. Blow things up in a good way. Do it for 20 years? Wake up and education has received billions in funding. Who does all this? If you've ever played one of these or these, that would be you. Yeah, thank you.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Think big. Something life-changing. I'm talking education. Let's get inventive. Blow things up in a good way. Do it for 20 years? Wake up and education has received billions in funding. Who does all this? If you've ever played one of these or these, that would be you. Yeah, thank you.
You could say they're ahead of schedule. They'd probably admit it as well. Ben Pierman just about did in our conversation this week. The goal this year was restore the relevancy for the Charleston Battery. They've done more than that. They're on their way to a conference final. We'll take a look at the highlights from their win over the Birmingham Legion, and we'll take you back to that opening goal 17 minutes in by Emilio Icaza.
Now Barajas with the corner, Icaza unmarked, gets the header, he's 6 yards out, he makes a good contact, nothing that Matt Van Oekel can do. Question marks against Birmingham defending, and perhaps Jake Roof there in particular. I'm not sure if it is his player, but he was the one trying to head it clear. And really, you've given yourself a mountain to climb, which, to be fair, they got themselves back in the match, courtesy of Agudelo and Tyler Pasha combining here. Agudelo runs into the box, gets blocked, comes to Pasha. He already knows where he wants to put that ball, and it's up in the air, and Prosper Kasim with a fantastic header at the far post.
From there, it was a lot of back and forth. There were chances for both teams. Sometimes luck has to be on your side. Ben Pierman said as much. Hey, we need some results to go our way, some higher seeds to maybe lose if we're truly going to make a run at this title. Well, that happened last week, and now these bounces go their way. A double deflection to give them the lead in the 68th minute.
Emilio Icaza with a great long ball. Tristan Traeger gets it in early. Defenses don't clear it. Then Marquena goes off Enzo Martinez, off Derek Dodson. That all comes from Traeger knocking it in quickly and not giving the Birmingham Legion defenders time to figure it out, and that's why the ball drops from Arcanic.
Full-time stats look relatively even, but Gary, with the crosses, with the corners, it always felt like Charleston was the aggressor and maybe the deserved victor in this one tonight.
Yeah, the XG is a lot higher anyway, but on top of that, you chuck in all the crosses and quality crosses as well. Especially first 20 minutes, maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half. From my perspective anyway, I think it's a fair result. I thought Charleston were slightly better than Birmingham Legion on the day.
Well, we can't technically move them along yet, but it's 4-0 Louisville over Detroit City with under a half an hour to play. So it's going to be Charleston against Louisville next week. Charleston at home, all trying to get to that final on November 12th. You have a pick in that game, Louisville-Charleston? It's going to be certainly popcorn-worthy between Ben Pierman and Danny Cruz, given their history in the touchline, that's for sure.
You know, Charleston at home, and what we've seen again today, they are a very, very difficult side to beat, and they will put Lou City under pressure. But they've got Omby, they've got Cam Lancaster, they've got players who've been there and done it so many times that I would never write off Lou City.
The Birmingham Legion were close to the club's first ever semifinal. Instead, it's the Charleston Battery for the first time since 2013 into the last four, a year removed from a club-low 6 total wins. Final score again brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, 2-1 to the Battery. For the crew that makes this possible and my broadcast partner Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malva saying so long from Mount Pleasant. You can catch more playoff action tonight on ESPN+, the end of Louisville, Detroit, and later tonight, Orange County and Phoenix. Charleston through to the conference final. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.